Hey, what's up YouTube? It's K-Rod here. I'm going to make a quick little video of Mr. Jaron Ennis of when his next fight is and what will we be expecting from him as far as things will go for his career. Let's just talk about where Jaron Ennis is in his career right now. He is kind of in like a bad spot because right now Jaron Ennis is trying to find a next opponent. I think honestly, Jaron Ennis is going to definitely be a problem of coming up at 147. But the problem that we all have to acknowledge at a Jaron Ennis is that what he does in the ring is very tenacious and very, ecstatic. And his potential is there. But the biggest problem that we all have about Jaron Ennis is just simply that we have a big issue of who is going to give Jaron Ennis that opportunity. See, now, I want to see Jaron Ennis face Yordenis Ugas. And I think, honestly, Jaron Ennis can be a problem for a lot of people. And I think, honestly, when we do look at his potential, Jaron Ennis, he is going to be a very vicious, undisputed, up-and-coming contender. As far as getting all the belts when Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford leave. Because when Errol Spence gets through Manny Pacquiao, yes, I will say this once again. When Errol Spence defeats Manny Pacquiao in devastating fashion, it won't surprise me that Terrence Crawford will either vacate those belts or he should be man enough to fight Errol Spence, probably have like a 3-fight deal, some shit like that. I don't fucking know. But try to do something. You know what I'm saying? I think it's best to just get these belts out the way. And I think Errol Spence, he's going to hold his end of the bargain. He's going to defeat Manny Pacquiao. And I would hope Terrence Crawford, he could take the fight with Errol Spence because, we already know at this point, Terrence Crawford is going to have to make a huge decision right now. Because right now, Yordenis Ugas is the WBA Super Champion. So, as far as like anybody that was going to say that Pacquiao could have been reinstated by the WBA, that was never to be true. The WBA denied that. They said Ugas is still the WBA Super Champion. And I think honestly that is fair justice, by the WBA, because it does not make any fucking sense to have the WBA regular champion be re-elevated or demoted back to that label when the WBA Super Champion did not do anything for a long period of time, i.e. Manny Pacquiao, making it harder for him to, or making it harder for Ugas to, proceed with more options in his career. And therefore, it puts a huge halt on the unifications that should be made between these sanctioning bodies. And it's not fair because that means that Errol Spence has to wait up on fucking Manny Pacquiao to either come back into the sport if he wants to get away from the champion in recess status. And then Ugas is going to be basically become like a sitting duck to either be, let the super champion temporarily until Manny Pacquiao comes back. No, fuck that. So, I'm happy that the WBA went that route to give Yordenis Ugas his justice because, he deserved it. And, he's like a really good fighter. I respect everything out of him. And I think a lot of people really need to give that respect to him because, he trained his butt off to beat up Abel Ramos, which I thought Abel Ramos, he wasn't ready in that fight. But now that he's gotten better, if those two were to rematch each other, I think Ugas would definitely have to, prove his worth, as a champion, out of the WBA. So I find it good that Ugas is on his way up. And don't forget about Abel Ramos. I love Abel Ramos. He's a very good fighter. And I think he's going to become a problem because he's getting better. And he just recently stopped Omar Figueroa. So that's good on his behalf. And I think for a next opponent for Jaron Ennis, I was possibly thinking maybe him and AB should go at it. Because if you really think about it, if Jaron Ennis could get an opponent like Adrian Broner, that'll be a very good fight. Or if that does not work, maybe try to do Gary Antoine Russell. I don't see how that fight cannot be made. Have that on the Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao card. I think that will be a huge fight. Gary Russell's brothers are very well gifted and talented fighters. And I think a guy like Jaron Ennis and Gary Antoine Russell, they're definitely going to give each other a fucking fight. These two guys, as far as I heard, they don't like each other. They've had history back in the past. And I'm pretty sure they don't hate each other. They just don't like each other in the sport. And good, like that should be like that. Like you should always have that theme in boxing where your rivals are there and you guys talk back and forth, and then you guys settle it inside of the ring to prove who's better. And I think Jaron Ennis, if he fights a guy like Gary Antoine Russell, yes, that is a very risky fight, but that could definitely be made for a title eliminator of some sort to go for a mandatory position. See, now, I don't know what things will be for Jaron Ennis, but if I'm Jaron Ennis, I need to speak with my team and speak with Al Heyman to discuss who will be the next opponent. Because right now, I guess him and his team are talking it out of what possible opponents can be next. And the possible opponents that could be next could be a guy like, Cusio Clayton. Or maybe, I heard Josecito Lopez or Igis Kavaleskis. I think Josecito Lopez would be a good opponent, but I don't think Lopez would last that long with him. It would just be like a worser version of him versus Canelo. But it's just Jaron Ennis, so Jaron Ennis is going to basically, Mike Tyson and, Evander Holyfield him to death. Because, Jaron Ennis, he's a knockout puncher, but he's going to basically style on Josecito Lopez. So, I personally think for Jaron Ennis, if he wants to have a good opponent, I think the best fight to make for Jaron Ennis would be an opponent like Adrian Broner or Gary Antoine Russell, or if Ugas can't be the option, maybe go for a Danny Garcia or a Mikey Garcia fight. That is my best options that I could think of, because Keith Thurman don't want to fight him, and I actually heard that Danny Garcia don't want to fight him, which I don't see why Danny Garcia should not fight him. That would be a great fight. Have that fight, on the Errol Spence or Manny Pacquiao card, or just have that fight in Philly, right? They could easily have that fight on Philly. Have that shit on Showtime. Boom. Showtime could air that fight. That'll be a big fight in Philadelphia. But I think Danny's going to probably go a different direction. As he did say, he does want to move up to 154. But, we'll definitely see where he's going to go. But I think Jaron Ennis, he really needs to make, a proper decision on who is the next available opponent to be put in front of him. And I think those names that I did mention before will be a very good name to put down on his resume, because Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence don't want to fight him right now because they're going to probably settle their business first. But I would hope if Errol Spence comes out on top that he could give Jaron Ennis the opportunity, because Jaron Ennis worked his butt off and he deserves every single moment of this opportunity to be given to him, because I don't see anybody else trying to step up and trying to take that opportunity, or to take that opportunity to fight the top dogs in the welterweight division. So yeah, that's pretty much it, what I have to say about Jaron Ennis. I think Jaron Ennis, he's going to be a problem, and I think what he does in the ring, he's going to really create some really big issues in the future. And I think Jaron Ennis, he's going to become undisputed, man. He is definitely on his way there. He just needs to get those type of opponents, those A+ or S- level tier opponents, and I think he'll be on his way. So, yeah, shout out to Jaron Ennis and shout out to his family. You know, he has a really good stable out there in Philadelphia, and I wish him nothing but the best because, you know, he's in my generation. So I really do respect you, Jaron. I hope you guys that are a part of his team listen to this to hear, you know, like my support for him, you know, and the team. And I appreciate you guys watching this video. And that's about it. Yeah, let's see what happens, and, you know, let's see how everything plays out. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I gotta say. Thank you very much, and I'll see y'all later. Thank you. Bye.